Okay, 1 2 1 2 testing testing 1 2 1 2 super sound. Okay, this is TV Tim Sweden episode 2, March 26, 2021. Anyway, happy Friday everybody. Eller as we say in Sweden, hej allihopa. You guys remember who said that? Hej allihopa. I don't even know if my Swedish friends or viewers knows or remembers that, but it's kind of funny. Hej allihopa was Anna Anka, who was married to the American artist, the musician Paul Anka. And she got a small part in the absolutely funniest movie ever, or one of them anyway, Dumb and Dumber. And she was the dumb one, Anna Anka, I can tell you that. She got out of the bus in the end and she said, hej allihopa, in Swedish. And I always figured like all these other 1,000 countries or villages in the world, what will they know about hej allihopa? But anyway, it was kind of funny, actually. Jim Carrey, Jeff Bridges, right? So anyway, I had a couple of YouTube channels before, Situation USA with Ronnie. We talked about Trump and American politics a lot. And I'm going to contact him again. We had a couple of great episodes and actually up to 12 or 14, I don't remember exactly. And we got up to 1,000 views, I guess, each episode, 500 to 1,000. And for some reason, we lost contact when I got the coronavirus over Christmas. But I'm going to contact him again. So if you see this, Ronnie, send me a messenger or I will send one to you and we can do an update on that Situation USA, because that's a terrible situation with Joe Biden anyway. So yeah, I have my Trump hat today, Make America Great Again, because I'm going to come in a little bit to that, what's going on in America today, in my view, obviously then. And okay, so also I want to say a couple of things. I was planning to do this episode in Swedish actually, but then I was thinking, okay, all of you guys know English, probably better than me, or at least as good. I know, most of all the English words that I need, so to say. Once in a while, you will probably hear that I'm looking for a word. So there is obviously something that you can always, learn, something you forgot or never got to know, so to say. And but I was thinking, I've got a couple of American followers already, and I think that this is interesting. The whole reason for me to do this channel is that I was interviewed a little over a week ago by Krista from the Philippines, and actually again today. And he has a fantastic show. He's actually working very hard with this. I hope all of you guys supports him by look at his donation site there for Swish and other ways, because this guy is reading, writing, texting, mailing, he's answering everybody. He's doing a very, very hard job in informing us in Sweden about things that we should know. He's sitting in the Philippines and helping us by reading all of the fake news, all of the regular mainstream media in Sweden. And he puts that down in a way so that, I think that his viewers, several thousand a day, are actually starting to think. And that's the whole point, I think, of his channel, that he wants us to think. What's going on? How can we save Sweden? What's wrong? What can we do? And what's racist and what's not racist? What's common sense and what's stupidity? And as he calls his show, vansinnet, craziness, insanity. It's insanity what's going on in Sweden today. And it's not just Sweden, it's all over the world. So something really bad is going on, I think. It's a worldwide pandemic. And when I say pandemic, it's not the virus I'm talking about. That's bad in itself. But the real pandemic is political. How everybody is closed down and shut down and wear a mask and do this, don't do that. Keep distance. I'm sorry, it's itching a little bit here. I hope that's okay. Maybe it's loss of wine in my blood. Cheers, everybody. Skål. Happy to you. As we say in Italian, Spain, salute. In Turkey, sherife. Okay, skål. So I think it's a world pandemic in a way that I was out today riding around on this electric scooter. I don't know how I had the guts to do that anymore after my broken ribs and stuff from last summer. But anyway, so I'm going to do what I did last episode. I'm going to babble. And what I mean with babble is that I'm not going to focus at all. I'm going to go back and forth all kinds of ways, topics, just like Carl Norberg does. Do you follow him, Carl Norberg, on YouTube? Guy from Stockholm. He has something that he calls måndagsmys, onsdagsmys, and fredagsmys. And what he, how should I translate that then? He's cozying up to his viewers, like Cozy Wednesday and Cozy Friday. Let's cozy up and have some nice time here. And then he talks about all these problems in the world, and he mixes, he flashes back and forth like, I don't know what, Sweden, Trump, America, the world, UN, WHO, Corona pandemic, and he goes back and forth, and it makes sense when he talks, and he explains what's going on in the world in a fascinating way. And I'm not going to copy him. I'm not going to copy Krister. I had some shows that I did myself before, but my specialty is to actually use my probably triple ADHD and just think as I go along. Because I remember stuff. I remember, and I think and I see things that I want to talk to my friends about, but they don't comprehend, they don't understand, or they don't want to accept my views. So I have stopped talking to people in bars, restaurants, and outside, because most people are just, that I know at least, or that I meet, they have, this view of, no, it's not that bad. It's okay in Sweden. We don't have any problems. Löfven is a good prime minister, and so on and so on. No, it's not. He has screwed up my country. I don't recognize it at all. And you come to America, and I can tell you, look at this hat here. A lot of people have buyer's remorse. A lot of people are disbelieving, crying, how could I vote for Biden? He's sick. He's falling for all the tricks the Democrats are forcing him to do. He's sort of demented. He's sort of old, of course. When I say sort of old, I mean he is old. But he has this way of stumbling and mumbling. And okay, it was an accident. He fell off the plane, the right stairs up to Air Force One. But it's not just one thing. Like he opened his first talk yesterday, I think it was, his first press conference, and he says that he started to work in the Congress 120 years ago. It's all these craziness, all these things that he says that's just crazy, totally crazy. And Trump, he was tough, he was hard, he was not a politician, he came from the outside, but he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he promised to do several things. He did them all and more. And America was a great country until he lost, except that the Democrats, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, crazy people like Nancy Pelosi, Chucky Schumer, Shifty Schiff. I don't know if I get blocked now, but I don't care. I'm going to try to do this episode and see what happens, because I don't have that many followers yet. But I got to be careful what I say here. But the God's honest truth is that they chased Trump. They chased him for 5 years. They talked about Russian collusion. There was no Russian collusion. They talked about everything in the Mueller report. They couldn't find anything to indict him. They accused him of everything from sexual stuff to financial stuff. He didn't want to show his tax returns. And I don't know what, but look at this. Even if I don't like Djokovic, the tennis player, the world's #1, because my favorite is Nadal. But Nadal has been world #1. Now it's Djokovic. I don't like several things with him in his personal life, what he says and what he stands for. But I admit that he's the best tennis player probably ever, along with some other guys. But here's the thing. The Democrats never accepted that Trump was a great president. They didn't care about his results. They didn't care about all of the good things he did. They focused on what they didn't like, which is okay. That's opposition. But then they badmouthed him. He was the orange man. He was the terrorist. He was the Nazi guy. He killed 300,000 people in Corona. It was his fault. And he was a racist because he said it was the China virus. I like the guy in California who has hundreds of thousands of followers. He sits in his car every day, drives around, and he starts every episode like this. Good damn morning, Americans. And then he goes on and on and on and explains the insanity. And that's what I want to try to do here, the insanity worldwide. Babble along, as I said, with some jokes, with some music, with some other information. So, you know, if you bear with me, then you probably have either ADD and can just be slow like this and eat some candy and a pizza on there. That's a funny guy. Or if you have ADHD triple version, like I have, double damp, as we say in Sweden, well, then you can just comment and write and bitch back and babble back, do whatever you want. Ask me what to do, what to say, where I'm right, where I'm wrong, whatever you want to do. But the whole thing with this channel is that I want to get out of me. I want to empty my soul and my heart and my everything, my whole being, by talking to this mic here and to this camera and to you, whoever is listening. I'm so grateful that I'm already up in over 70 views, 70, in like a couple of days. And it's actually good because Christer helped me today. I got a chance to talk about this channel, TV Tim Sweden, and my music channel, Say What. And that's pretty awesome. Most people don't accept that because they, think that you're stealing viewers from another guy's channel and so on. But as I told him, I'm supporting you. I'm happy to be on your channel. And I think our first episode, the first episode that I was a part of, he's done a lot over a year. I think we got almost 4,000 views, which is incredible. And we got some very good comments. I got some good comments about myself. So I actually want to say what I wrote on his site there, Swexit, that I'm very grateful and I thank you very much for all your nice comments. I'm not allergic to bad comments. If you think I'm wrong with anything, or if you want to tell me something or teach me, that's fine. Everything is acceptable to me like that. So, my goal is basically to get as many viewers as I can, but not to steal them from somebody else. I just want to build something that you guys can find interesting. And the best way to make this channel interesting, because I have fun myself, I could actually do this with myself as one viewer, and I could have a glass of wine and laugh at myself. So I don't really care in one way if I get 70 or 700 or 7,000 views, but cheers, I'm a little dried up here. But the interesting thing is that the more views I got, the more subscribers I got. If you subscribe, if you push the phone is ringing. I thought I turned the ring signal off. And how can it ring then? Well, that's another thing I've got to talk to Apple about. Apple is totally messing up this world here. I'm going to come into that later regarding Trump's new platform that he's probably planning. So anyway, where was I? So because the more viewers we get, the more comments we get. And if you help me and you help Christer and you help Håkan Bermark, and we sort of get people to watch these channels, maybe not instead of SVT and TV4 and news and so on, but at least also, so that we see how does the common person on the street feel about this country, about America, about Sweden, about Europe, about the EU, about the climate change they talk about, the World Health Organization. Little poor Greta, what do you think about Greta? I could go on and on about her. But anyway, and what do you think about this and that and everything? It could be anything from the cab drivers, from the bus drivers, from anything in your town, in your community. Are you happy with Sweden? Is it good now? Was it better 10 years ago, 20 years ago? And if so, why? And how is it in America? How do you feel, guys, in Fort Lauderdale today, New Jersey, New York, anywhere you are, my friends in the States? How do you feel over there? The whole thing is that something is happening in the society today, in all of our societies all over the world. And it's not for the better. The iPhones get better. The Androids get better. Everything technically, I don't even know if it gets better, but it gets more and more sophisticated. You get more choices. You get a box for this. You get a camera for that. You get a phone for that and a swisher. So many things you can do technically. But the technical development doesn't match the development of the common life on the street, if you understand what I mean. That's what I think is the worst situation here. That I go out, take my bike, or as today, I actually took a scooter to a place over there. I had a beer. I took it again to another bar, and just driving here in Malmö through the parks, to the good side of Malmö, so to say. What do I see? Well, the first thing I see when I go outside my house, and don't misunderstand me now, either you call me weak, that I don't dare to say what I want, or you will say that I'm a racist or something in between. But I'm looking right now, but God damn, it's itching today. I don't know what I did here. 2 Muslim women is coming here with these head things, hyckla, as we say in Sweden, the head shawls, so to say. And it's okay, they walk here on the street, that's not the point. The point is that in the bank across the street here, in the drugstores, there are 2 or 3 of these Muslim women working, looking like I am in a Muslim country. These are the things that people are afraid to talk about. But I'm not saying it to condemn them. They are Muslims, and they are entitled to wear their clothes and their burqa and their niqabs and their shawls, as long as the law in the country where they live doesn't say that they can't. My point is that when I go outside here earlier today, and I see a Muslim woman screaming in her phone like this with her food buying, and she has this head thing on, let's just call it a shawl. I don't know what you say in English, actually. I call it hyckla in Swedish. So, and then another one comes from, basically, I think they're from Somalia, with a purple whole niqab thing. I saw her face and nothing more. We call those a garbage bag. Actually, the garbage bags are usually black. But it's so terrible to see that they haven't come anywhere. They come to Sweden and they don't want to be as us. They don't want to adapt and be Swedish. Okay, let's say that is fine then. But I mean, how far can we go? And what I mean with that is that there is a school over there saying that we are proud to be the first pork-free school in Malmö, which means that they don't serve any food coming from pork, from pigs, to our children in the school, which they did up till a couple of years ago. What is that to be proud of? For me, it's not to be proud for anything. For me, it's like we have adapted to a Muslim world. And why is it good that there are hyckla women with these Muslim head shawls working in every bank, basically, in every drugstore, driving buses and so on, but they can't drive a cab? You see Muslim women driving buses, but they can't drive a cab. It's only Muslim men driving cabs. So there are several things where I think like this. Who is controlling them? Is it the men? Is it the caliphate? Is it the Muslim Brotherhood? Or, I mean, who are telling these people that they cannot adapt and be as us? Because if I go down to the beach, that I do basically every day for my walk, and I see all these beautiful Swedish girls and women from other countries walking around there in their, even if it's the summer, a bikini, a bathing suit, or regular clothes, or gym clothes, working out, running, but they don't cover their hair. They look beautiful in all their different hairs: blonde hair, dark hair, red hair, short, long, whatever you want, even gray, for God's sakes. And then you see in the sun, it's very, very nice. And they come in these garbage bags, and they come in these hyckla shawls on the head. It doesn't look normal. It's totally wrong. It's not Sweden to me. That's one of the reasons I'm starting this channel, because I want to continue to make people understand that you're not a racist if you don't like an ideology. I have nothing against the Islamic religion as is, sort of like the Bible, the religion of Christianity. You can do whatever you want in your home. You can pray, so to say, to any God you like. If it's Allah, which is actually not a God name, Allah only means God. And God is not a name, it's a title. God's name in the Bible is Jehovah, shortened Jah. That's the Rastafaris in Jamaica is using it, Jah. Jah Rastafari, Jehovah, Yahweh. The tetragrammaton in the Hebrew and Aramaic language is, what is it then? JHWH. Because in the Hebrew and Aramaic language, they don't use vocals. So it's only the consonants, whatever we call it in English, JHWJ, Jehovah, Jah. So they believe that Muhammad got some divine inspiration from the angel Gabriel, actually. The only problem is that the Bible is teaching that Gabriel got, so to say, a tape on his mouth from God after Jesus died, so he could no longer talk to humans. So that takes away the whole religion. But to go back to what I said, I am okay that there are a few mosques that people believe in what they want in their own homes, as long as we are what we are today. We are a country of immigrants. That's fine, but we can't continue to adapt. We can't continue to make Sweden more and more Islamic by accepting that they get what they apply for with the state and the communities and the government, which is the minarets. I'm talking Swedish now. The minarets in Swedish, we say minareter, which means those, you know, when they scream out 5 times a day, and they call for the prayer to Allah. That noise, that sound is not Swedish. It's not our Viking, later on Christian values. Those are Muslim values that doesn't make sense here with us. If we mix that too much, if we sell too many empty churches to the Muslim organizations so they can make mosques of them, if we accept that more and more schools can't serve pork meat, believe me, yes, one of these days, ICA or Konsum will stop sell pork meat. You can't buy your fläskfilé, you can't buy or any type of pig meat or bacon or anything, because it will go that way. It's obvious, because if you say no, it won't. Well, what happened 5 years ago? What happened 10 years ago? 10 years ago, they applied that boys and girls could not be in the same swimming pool in the, you know, these community bath houses, swim houses for kids and so on and so on. And I didn't believe it, but I went there and checked. So Tuesdays and Thursdays in Malmö between, I think it was 1 and 3. There could only be boys in the pool, and then after girls, they couldn't be mixed, even if they were 3, 4, 5 years old. What is that? That's not normal to us. That's not our culture. That's what I like with what Christer says. He says, I like to travel all around the world. I love different cultures when I'm visiting them. I don't want to live their cultures here in Sweden. When my grandmother died, 1998, she lived in Malmö here all of her life. She was from Germany. My mother's side is from Germany. I can't even say if she was born in Sweden or Germany, but anyway, she was in Sweden most of her life, and they had great houses and they lived a very nice lifestyle until certain things happened, so that she was placed with 5 kids, whereas one was my mother, in a pretty small apartment, 2-bedroom with 5 kids here in Malmö, close to the beach over there. Pretty nice in today's standard for an apartment, but anyway, or a condo. But the thing was, she told me in 1995, Tim, these politicians can't count. When I was thinking 30 years old, I was, what does my grandmother mean? The politicians can't count, like 1, 2, 3? And she says, yes, you're right, Tim, they can't count. Cheers. Happy Friday night. So I said, what do you mean, Grandma? And she says, look at this. Look on the streets how it looks. You get more and more immigrants from these countries, and they do not want to adapt. You have certain people who assimilates. You have certain people who likes to come here, work hard as hell, build a new life, like the Yugoslavians did. At that time, we never called them Serbs, Croatians, or we didn't even know what Bosnia-Herzegovina was. We only knew Croatians, Serbs, and Slovenians. We didn't even know that they were Yugoslavians. I don't know. I didn't know that anyway. I had so many Yugoslavian friends in Jordbro. I lived in Earthbridge. Jordbro is Earthbridge in English, I think, south of Stockholm. And we had a couple of guys from Chile. We had a couple of Turks. The Muslims at that point, you know, in the 70s and 80s, those Turkish families never behaved Muslimish, Islamic like they do today. Sadly, a lot of these Turks that were my friends, not all of them, but a lot of them have become more and more Muslim, which their parents, you know, did not in the 80s and early 90s. So my grandmother said, they get so and so many more children than we do. So a culture cannot sustain if they get 6 to 8 kids and we get 1 or maximum 2, average. So that's 1.2 against 6, 8. And it grows and grows, and they will add their lifestyle, their culture to our society. I do not want to live in Malmö when it looks like Baghdad, she said, because she was only talking about Islam. She was not talking about Yugoslavians, Greeks, Italians, because they're Christian in their values, in the same upbringing, in the same culture. Even if you're not religious, you still have Christian values. I'm going to say something now that I can't prove, but I've heard and I think that the Swedish law book, that is big as an old Bible from the 1800s, I think 50% of the rules and regulations is basically coming from the Bible, not word by word or verse by verse, but the traditions, the way of seeing what's right and wrong. And one thing that is definitely not right, in anyone's view, I should say, is what Christer is calling balkongflygare. I mean, I can laugh at that word, balkongflygare, but in English, it's balcony flyers. Does any of you guys listening to this in English, not knowing Swedish, do you know what a balcony flyer is in America or England? Have you heard about that? Well, a balcony flyer is here in Sweden. It's very common, sadly to say. That's when a Muslim family decides, and it can be the father and the mother, and it can be the aunt and the grandmother and the siblings. They can be 2 in on it. It can be the whole clan. Not Ku Klux Klan, but the Muslim clan. And what they do is they actually throw down their daughters from a balcony so she actually dies on the asphalt. Because what? She wasn't obedient enough. She had a Swedish boyfriend or a boyfriend from another country without being married. And they found out that they had sex or whatever. So she had to be a balcony flyer. They just threw her out. Sharia laws, throw her out. They kill them, they stab them, they shoot them. They do anything to their own daughters because they have disgraced the family. So then somebody can say, oh, how many times that happened in Sweden a year? Does that really matter? Isn't 1 time enough? And I can tell you over the past 10 years, it's hundreds of cases, hundreds. The police are hiding it. The media is hiding it. So how do we know about it? Because we read about it sometimes, and we know that some of our kids know somebody from school and they talk about it in the schoolyard. So the kids are leaking and they're writing on Facebook and Instagram that this little girl here, 18 years old, they threw her off the balcony. So this is a fact that I know from Turkey and Iraq, that it happens down there. You know that they stone women still, right? In Saudi Arabia, if they, I don't even think they can drive a car now yet, but it's coming that way, I guess. But if you are unfaithful, if you have sex with anybody, and God forbid if a woman have sex with a woman, they stone them on the street. They don't even hang them, they stone them alive. So, that's what they want to do here, many of them. And then a lot of people say, oh, but Tim, not all of them are like that. Well, what the fuck do I care if not all of them are like that? The point is that too many are like that. And we never vetted the people, as Trump says. Why don't you vet people when we take them in? Why don't we check who they are, where they come from? Oh, you're paperless. You don't have a paper. Well, how are we going to decide who are you? I mean, who are you really? What do you want to do here? And they have learned everything from where they come from. They know exactly how to call and apply for social welfare. They know exactly how to apply for an apartment and to do this and this and say that they're a refugee, even if there are financial reasons for them to come here for a better life, as they say. And a lot of them are criminals. Did you know that when they bugged Trump initially, when he became president, and he said that we're going to stop all the flights from these 7 Muslim countries, because as he said, it's not because they're Muslim countries, it's because they're problem Muslim countries. So he never stopped flights from Iran, and he never stopped flights from, let's say, England or Sweden, where Muslims also could travel. Well, So he did that, and they call him a racist. He's a Islamophobe and all of that stuff. But he was not, of course. Everybody who knows Trump or who knows his administration knows that he did things that was good for America, America first, make America great again, and that would have benefited the world. People so misunderstood him, it's ridiculous. Those 7 countries, they were decided and written down by Hussein. You know Hussein, right? Hussein Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. He said that we cannot have people coming in from these countries. It's too much and it's going to be problems. So let's block those countries from coming in for now. So ending the Islam discussion here, I want to say like this. Sweden Democrats, SD, they have to become a part of the government after the next election, 2022. It's ridiculous otherwise. And the only constellation I can see is with KD and M. Kristersson, get your shit together because you're weakest. And Bush, you're really good. You could be a Bush, an American Bush. And when I say that Bush, I actually mean the old one. Even George W. was good, actually, when you think about the problems he had. But with 9/11, I mean. But anyway, Annie Lööf from and you know Centern and the liberals in Sweden, they are so far gone. They are totally on the Social Democrat side, and the Environmental Party MP, they got to go too. Crazy, crazy party. They don't understand what they're talking about. So, in order to make Sweden Sweden again, we need to close the border, build a wall, figuratively, because we can't build a wall like Trump did, sorry to say. But we need to close Sweden to Islamic immigration. I'm not talking about helping people. I'm not talking about not supporting countries like Syria and Iraq if it goes to the good people. What's the point of sending billions of crowns or dollars to a regime that only use them for terrorism and gassing their own people and so on? That's stupid. Let me give you an example. Nancy Pelosi in America, she was bugging Trump yesterday. She said like this: Trump had children starve to death when he blocked the immigration. No, he didn't. He told, I think it was Guatemala and a few other countries, that, you know, he found out like, how much money did we send to these countries down in, you know, Central America and South America? Oh, we send $500 million a year. What for? To support them in their financial situation so that their people can have a decent life. Well, how's that working out when all of them are walking thousands and thousands to the Mexican-American border? Obviously, nothing happened. And the big problem was that none of these countries accepted to take back criminals that America sent back, so to say, utvisade. What's the word for that now? You know, when you expel somebody, when you send them back as the criminals, you can't be in America, we send you home, we send you back. So these countries said, no, we don't want them. We don't want MS-13. We don't want these gangsters. So Trump said, okay, I'm going to stop the $500 million. So then they said, oh, we're not getting any money. They call him the next day. Oh, send everybody back. All the criminals you find from our country, Guatemala, El Salvador, and so on, send them back. We'll gladly have them back because they wanted the $500 million. So Trump knew about that, just like he did with NATO. He said, I'm not going to pay to NATO anymore. We pay 90%. You, Germany, everybody here, why don't you pay your 2% of the BNP that you promised in the contract? So he got that fixed. He said, I'm going out to the Paris Climate Accord because we pay $448 million a year and China pays $48 million, 90% less. Why should America pay that much for everybody when none of these countries, Russia, China, India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, they never did anything for the climate? They don't do it. It was just the paper. So when they bugged Trump that, oh, you went out to Paris Climate Accord, he knew what he was talking about. He got out of all of these bad deals in order to build America great again, make America great again. America first. America first is not racist as they talked about. It's to say like this, you, the viewer, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to take care of your home first and your car and buy your groceries, taking care of your kids, getting a new TV if the other one is broken to you? Or do you want to take all the salary you make and go give it to somebody else so you have shit? That's not normal. You got to look for yourself first. But when you are in a good situation, you can help your neighbor, your friends, relatives, and so on. That's what Trump meant with America first. We got to be healed. We got to be a strong, fresh, good country in order to help the world. But he didn't want to be world police. He never started a war. I think he's the only president, Donald J. Trump, who never started a war as an American president. He brought back soldiers home from Iraq and Afghanistan. He went out of the crazy, crazy Iran deal. And he did everything that every American and everybody in the world would have been so happy about if it wasn't just that he did it. If it was me, you, Obama, anybody, they would applaud him and they would be happy. You know, the tariffs against China, who has been screwing the world for so long and now ducked us up totally with this sweet and sour sniffles and so on and so on. It's, you know, it's crazy. My grandmother was right. A lot of people are right. Something is wrong in this society. I want to finish this up now so that this episode doesn't become too long. But here's the situation, what we talk about. We talk about the world, Sweden, America, religion, politics. How does it look on the street? That's the main thing. How does it look on the street where you live, and are you happy about it? Are you happy the way it looks in your town, in your city, in your country? If you're not happy, why not? What do you think about mass immigration? What do you think about bringing in a lot of people who doesn't want to become a part of your country, who just wants to be what they want, as, you know, bringing the culture and live their lifestyle where they came from? And, you know, that's one part of this channel. And I'm going to go into a short little thing here, 5 minutes, about what the rest will be about. The Swedish channels, my English channel here, you know, is, as I said, I want to babble about how I feel, what I know, what I see, what I hear, what I read, to get some discussion going. And you can write in the comment box below. You can, you know, please subscribe and share to people and see what they say, because I will be happy if I get a lot of comments saying, Tim, you're totally wrong because of blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to know that then. So in the next episode, I can comment and say why I said what I said. And that's one part of it. So let's get out of that now. But I think that there are certain things we can do to save this country. And I know that Trump is doing a lot of stuff in America now to save America, because Biden is totally crushing the whole country. It's terrible what's happening there now. Just check Hannity, check Laura Ingraham, follow Dan Bongino, follow Huckabee. All of these people are having fantastic shows explaining exactly what Biden and the Democrats are doing with Kamala Harris, Rashida Tlaib, I think her name is, and Omar, the Muslim black woman from Minneapolis, who was sitting in the desert with no food, no water, and she gets saved, come to America, and now she hates America. And she wants to kill everybody and make everybody Muslim. I mean, it's just so terrible the way she speaks. So anyway, let's wrap this up with something else. We have a music channel called Say What. You can go into, as they say in America still, even though you don't need it, www.saywhat.one. Say What is a soul and funk, or funk and soul pod and vodcasts. You can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it on Instagram. Check it out on YouTube, where you can see and watch the 9 episodes that we have released so far. We interview artists that we like, and artists that we know, and artists that we can find who wants to accept to be interviewed. So far, we have actually done fantastic interviews and fantastic shows, episode 1 to 9, with artists such as Eric Leeds. If you don't know who Eric Leeds is, it's because you haven't been following Prince. Prince had a saxophone player, an artist in his own name called Eric Leeds. He's a fantastic player, saxophone and other instruments. And we interviewed him about his musical life, his life with Prince, all the tours in Europe and everything he did with Prince. That became a fantastic show. Lots of live clips, lots of other goodies there. We did the same thing with Jelly Bean Johnson. Jelly Bean Johnson came to Minneapolis as a young guy, got to know Prince, Jerome, Morris Day from The Time, and all of these people who created with Prince the Minneapolis sound, which is a sort of super funky Califragisexy, you know, super funky music. And we interviewed him, and he told his life story and how he met Prince and how they met Michael Jackson and how they opened up for Rick James and they did this and that and so on. Fantastic story, and also a lot of live clips. In Manhattan, in New York, I came to a very cool place years ago called The Groove. The Groove is a music bar with great food and nice people and bands playing every day. And I met a guy there. His name is Leonard, Christopher Leonard Jackson. Episode 8 on Say What. All of the episodes are on the website. So if you go to saywhat.1, there is a list of all of the 9 episodes so far. Leonard is definitely one of the world's coolest bass players. And he's played with Prince. He's played with all kinds of bands. His life, how he grew up, is a fantastic story. A lot of stuff about Kool and the Gang and Earth, Wind and Fire, Aretha Franklin, lots of cool stuff in his interview, and lots of live clips with him. So that's also a fantastic episode. And we interviewed a beautiful woman. Her name is Amoy from Jamaica. She lives in Toronto now, and she's a reggae soul girl. She has opened for Siggy Molly, Stephen Molly, and she has worked with some of my Jamaican reggae favorites, such as Toots and the Maytals, and Sly and Robbie, Boops. And yeah, she's done some very cool stuff. So episode 9 is about Amoy and her life, how she moved from Jamaica to Toronto, Canada, and why, how she's developing her music and her latest album coming out now. So lots of interesting stuff. A Swedish band called Neon Romeos from Stockholm. That's in episode 3 or 4, I think. Very, very cool show. So please tune in to Say What and subscribe and share there. And that's no politics, no nothing. Just great music, old school funk and soul, a little reggae and so dancehall stuff that you will all enjoy. And yeah, so let's finish this up then by saying that my whole interest here is probably just like Christer's and Håkan's and many other of these channels. Like I said before, some of my favorites in America is Dan Bongino. You should follow him if you're interested in American politics, that would say. And on YouTube, you can also search for Hannity and Laura Ingraham. They are the night anchors weekdays. Tucker Carlson as well, he's really good too, on Fox News, but it's on YouTube. And they show the truth, as I call it in Sweden, fakta funna i verkligheten, facts found in reality. You don't get that from CNN, MSNBC, BBC, NBC, all of the C's. You don't get that from them. You don't get it from the New York Times. You don't get it from WAPO, Washington Post. It's rare that you get the truth out of media nowadays. And what's interesting in that CNN is the biggest of all of the fake news. And they, the Swedish press, Aftonbladet, Expressen, anything, TV4 News, Swedish News, they're all copying CNN. If you look at the articles about Trump and other stuff, it always says like this, as read or as stated by CNN. It's terrible. Journalism is dead. Journalism is dead because none of the real reporters like Jim Acosta at CNN and Chris Cuomo is a terrible guy, brother of the disgraced governor Cuomo in New York who destroyed that whole town. They don't check. They don't investigate. They don't do what, let's say, she used to be good, Armand-Pour on CNN, when she traveled the world and checked out country after country and politicians and so on. But nowadays, it's not journalism. It's just bullshit and fake news. So anyway, I'm going to continue this battle. I wouldn't be surprised if I get blocked now. I will let you know that later. If I get blocked or censored here of Google or YouTube because I say all these names, their company names and Donald Trump's name and all of these Democrat politicians' name, I mean, you can decide for yourself until until this episode gets taken down. Then they might not take it down because I'm not over 1,000 viewers. But if they take me down, it's solely because I state my view. I think that's free speech. What do you think? That's one of the questions you can answer in the comments below, first of all. Am I entitled to say what I want? Isn't that free speech? Or should I be censored because I think what I think? That's not going to happen on Trump's new platform. That didn't happen on Facebook before, and not on YouTube either, except if you used foul language or did something bad like that. But, so anyway, I really, really hope you will check this episode out. Well, you have, if you have listened this far, and that you help me find more subscribers, share, whatever, you know, and write in the comment sections and let me know what you want to talk about. If you want to be on an interview, we can do it in Swedish or English. It doesn't matter. Like Krista did with me. It's interesting to talk to people like this and see what other people think. Otherwise, it's just going around here and everything will just disintegrate into even worse stuff. So, okay. Have a nice weekend, everybody. I've babbled enough. As I said, this is a babbling channel. I like to babble, and now I've had it. So I'm going to have a little whiskey, watch a nice movie, probably use the phone and call some friends. I might even return my girlfriend's call. Who knows? She just called me. Let's see if she's worth that tonight. I'm just kidding. Take care, everybody. Ciao.